fellas, welcome to Frame by Frame, a storytelling podcast. I am elated to have each of you here. I am definitely admire from up close, far away, everything that you fellas do within your industries. This is a chance for you to share your authentic story, who you are, where you're from, and what you're about. I think that high producing creatives, high producing people, entrepreneurs, it is important for us to really like tell our stories so that people may be inspired to keep going, to start, and sometimes to pick back up that gift that they may have, that life kind of knocks us around sometimes. But what I admire about you all individually is your resilience. From what I know, I think I'm gonna find out some more, but your resilience and not just your creativity, but your character. So I want to start by you guys going around and sharing who you are and what industry you're in and where you're from. So I'll start with you, Joe.
My name is Travis Malloy. I'm a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Word.
now residing in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
I'm a singer, songwriter, producer. I'm a CEO.
Dope.
I am a motivational speaker. I'm an entertainer. I'm a Grammy nominated songwriter
Let's
and
go.
producer and a world changer.
Dope. I love that.
My name is Najee Daniels.
Yeah.
I am from New Jersey, and I'm a singer, songwriter, producer,
Yeah.
and I'm a cook. Most people don't know I'm a cook. That's actually how I met you, Jamal, in
Yes.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
I went to Johnson and Wells. Shout out to Johnson and Wells.
Let's go.
Yeah, and that's a little bit what I do.
Yeah.
My name is Jeremiah Drummond, born and raised in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Let's go.
And I'm a photographer and a creative at heart.
Yeah. You are. One of the best. One of the best. But yeah, man. So that's dope. So just going back to you guys' hometowns, I really feel like where you are born is not an accident. How has like your hometown, like where you're from, have cultivated who you are as a person? Like, what are some things that are like staples from where you grew up that has impacted who you are?
As for me, growing up in a small town, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's a sports town. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity, though I did graduate from the Pittsburgh High School for the Creative and Performing Arts. Shout out to Kappa.
Yeah.
But there weren't a lot of platforms for young Black creatives. So actually, my city pushed me to grow
Wow.
because every opportunity that has afforded itself to me was typically in a different area.
Wow.
So my city pushed me to say, hey, I got to get to the Grammys this weekend.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to get to the Stellar Awards this weekend. Hey, I got to get to this conference this weekend. Wasn't a lot going on in the city, so it pushed me to grow. And it gave me strength because it's not always leaving what you're comfortable.
Right.
Specifically when God calls you and not really everybody else.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I've had to go alone. You know what I mean? And oof, many are called, few are chosen.
Yeah, man.
And when you're the chosen one, it doesn't always feel good when you're having to be chosen to do it alone.
Yeah.
But I would say, as supportive as my city is still to this day, it pushed me to grow because I always had to step out and go get it.
Yeah.
I wasn't afforded the opportunity to be born and raised in a city like Atlanta, Georgia, or New York City, where all the opportunities came, here, or to Detroit. Pittsburgh was if you wanted something, you had to go, unless you wanted to be the next Pittsburgh Steeler.
Unless you want to be a baller.
Unless you want to be a baller, But other than that, it was like I had to get to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I had to get to New York. I had to get to Miami. I had to get to the places where, sometimes it's not about the gift. Sometimes it's about the location.
Absolutely.
I know so many gifted people that are scared to leave.
Wow.
That are scared to step out.
Wow.
And it did not feel good all the time. Oh, I remember the days of pulling off. I moved so many times.
Wow.
And I remember the days pulling off and just crying, leaving my mom, or crying, leaving my friends. But I knew I had to go.
Yeah. Travis, they don't talk about separation anxiety when you are pursuing something that God showed you, and you have separation anxiety from everything that you've always known.
Yeah, man.
But not just that, but the people that you feel responsible for and that have taken care of you, and you want to take care of them so bad. but you know you have to leave to do it.
Yeah.
You have to leave to really make a mark for your family, your city, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And so I applaud you for that leap of faith and that courage to go.
Yeah.
That courage to go. What about you guys?
Ooh. You go ahead. I try to.
No,
I
but
mean, somewhat of this similar story. Like I'm from a small town, but I think for me, like what it did was really humble me in a lot of ways. Just I guess just the way that I was brought up back at home.
Mhm.
But also it did motivate me to want to do more, to want to see more,
Yeah.
and to want to travel more because a lot of times when you grow up in a smaller city, the mindset stays there too. Like the
Yes.
mindset stays small. And I think one of my biggest motivations was, seeing the world and expanding my mind and my creativity, to do more.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, small
Yeah.
city was something that built a lot of humility and motivation for me to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I believe, because I've been to Spartanburg, you showed me about Spartanburg. I've actually shot in Spartanburg
Yeah.
with you multiple times, actually for my birthday. But the thing that stands out and stood out to me was your connection with people
Oh yeah.
and growing up in Spartanburg and how like you do well with people.
Mm.
You're a people person, and I think that was a cool thing that I was like, okay, you talk to people, you've done relationship,
Yeah.
and you've done relationship well, and I think that also is a major thing that has contributed to your business and you as a person.
Yeah, it's a lot
Like,
of good people back at
yeah,
home. There's a
yeah,
lot of good people. I think when I started traveling and I realized, how different people move, it
yeah,
really woke me up to where like, wow, everyone is not like this.
yes,
So I think back home also taught me how to be a good person too.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Brick City. Jersey was. I'm not even sure if it's considered a large or small city,
okay,
but Jersey was a melting pot of creativity. So I literally experienced so much. I was surprisingly, people know me. I talk a lot, but I was a quiet kid, and I watched and I observed and I experienced. And my family specifically has a rich history
yeah,
in New Jersey. Even my name, Najee Akil Kimani Daniels,
mhm,
my great uncle was a black activist and a
yeah,
poet and a playwright, Amiri Baraka.
wow,
And he created the tradition of naming all of us with names with meaning derived from like Africa. My whole
nice.
life, people was making fun of me, but it's something to it now, and I get I get some of what he was the reason behind what he was doing.
Yeah,
And all of it's so many creative gifts that have come out of Jersey. You got Faith Evans, you got Whitney Houston, my uncle LaShawn Daniels,
yeah,
my mother Fundisha. So I just experienced so much. Lauren Hill,
yeah,
she like I was just it was I'm one of those weird situations where I was just around all these people
hmm,
and I'm experiencing. I didn't even know how great they were until I got older.
yeah,
And but it was an amazing an experience to just take all of it in. It create like from my mom used to tour with Lauren because they went to college together. Just being in those rehearsal spaces.
yeah,
When my uncle was working with Brandy, I remember I was very young, but I remember those experiences. But they were just normal to me.
yeah,
It wasn't really until I got into a huge argument with a homie. Um, and he was just like, "You're privileged," and I'm like, "No, I'm not, bro. I ain't privileged." And he was just like, "You're privileged, and ain't nobody get the opportunity to do this and do this." But that was the first time that I really considered what I had experienced as a
right,
privilege because along with the creative things that you experience, I've seen a lot that kids shouldn't see. You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying? The industry is dirty and murky, and I've seen tears. I've seen people do my people dirty,
yeah,
and it kind of for me, I kind of I didn't want anything to do with the industry because of what I saw of it
yeah,
and how I saw what I saw it did to my family members.
yeah,
And obviously, there's a lot of great things and highs, but there were lows that most people you don't show the trenches.
Absolutely.
But I had to see them growing up.
Wow. Wow. That's so good. And just to segue with that, like there are trenches in every industry.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. And there are trench people in them. But we are not focusing on that. We are focusing on the overcomers. We've overcome that. But how did you guys get into the industries that you are in? Like what was that thing that I guess your initial point into, and you could have kind of stumbled into it like I did. I was literally going to be a lawyer, and I was like, not so. You are gonna do creativity. I shocked my whole family. They were like, "What are you
What
doing?
you right?
You're going to an art school? What? How does that equate to a job? How does that equate to money?"
Exactly.
And how did you get into the industry that you're in?
I wanted to become an actor. Like my goal was television. I was like, ever since a child, I was like, yes, I know I'm going to become an actor. And my grandfather bought me a camcorder because I couldn't like afford to go to auditions all the time. So I would submit my auditions. So I wasn't getting booked. And I had this camera. So during like holiday times for my family, I give them like for Thanksgiving, I record like us just interacting
Yeah.
and just being together. And then it turned into me like taking pictures during that time. And it just started to grow. So like my family started telling people that I was taking pictures and it grew into a business. So yeah, it came out of nowhere from what I initially planned to do with my life.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Man, we are too. We are too.
For me, there have been so many aha moments for me as far as the evolution of purpose. I've been talking about that for the last few days.
Wow.
There's an evolution to purpose.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought everything that happened in my life would be through one vehicle.
Yeah.
And God started showing me, no, but I'm gonna show you because you got something over here that you've been sitting on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show. But I had so many aha moments growing up. I wanted to be a drummer. And you're so as a child growing up, you're influenced by so many different things and figures because there was a moment I wanted to be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I'm going to tell you why. I was addicted to WWF growing up, and I used to watch the authority that Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out and the command that he had of that audience. So that was something that did something to me. Going to church and seeing, the late, great Lisa Brown Clay playing the piano and commanding the audience in worship.
Yeah.
That's when I wanted to play the piano. So my mom went and bought me a piano. Then she puts me in Kappa High School. And the day before school starts, we had recruitment. I don't know if they had that in your school, but we had recruitment where we went and kind of met the teachers. And they had, I guess this day was an alumni day for some of the people that had graduated from the school. So me and my friend were running late, and we get to the school, and we're backstage, and it kind of looked like this kind of setting, where you're kind of putting things together. And all I hear in the background is, "What is time? Is it the autumn leaves, birds need to fly?" And I just was like, oh my God, I've never heard a voice like this in my life. Who is this? And we're kind of like, it was like a sitcom, a 90s sitcom where you're kind of sneaking, and we look in, and it's Billy Porter.
Wow.
And you got to understand, I had never heard, I didn't even know Billy Porter was from my hometown. I'm in the 10th grade. I didn't know that he was from my hometown. He was there to surprise us to perform because he graduated from Kappa years prior than when I got there. So I'm looking at this voice and I'm seeing him sing and practice with the accompaniment. And in that moment, I said, man, I want to make people feel like he feel. I want to make people feel like he's making me feel right now. You know what I'm saying? So I've just had so many of those moments. Just like he said, privilege is relative. Because I didn't grow up in a city where you could go to the studio and see the great LaShawn Daniels or Lauryn Hill. But I hustled so hard that I've been in those rooms.
Right.
And people thought I was privileged, but I had to go get it.
Absolutely.
So it's privilege is perspective based on who's looking at it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because not a lot of people have, I know a lot of people that have passion but don't have drive.
That's it.
What is the difference?
Passion comes from a place of, I believe passion is internal. Drive is external.
Yeah.
Passion is, it's a gut feeling like this is what I'm called to do
Yeah.
and this is what I'm going to do. But it produces drive
Yeah.
to say, I'm going to drive 19 hours to Houston, Texas to
Yeah.
perform at the AIM Church of God in Christ convention in 2006 so that the church could see me,
Yeah.
so that doors could open up for me. That's what drive says. I got to move to California, and driving for 3 days with a friend, stopping in Denver, Colorado
Wow.
to take a break and getting to Los Angeles and sleeping on a blow-up bed for 6 months. That's called drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe passion produces the energy of drive. Faith without works is
It's
dead.
dead. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to do something.
Yeah.
And even, and I hate to be deep and churchy, but if I could just take a churchy
Yeah.
moment, it said, "For God so loved the world."
That he.
He didn't just say, "I love you." He showed you.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like, love is action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the first example of action. For God so loved the world that he gave. He had to give you something to show you, no, I'm not just going to tell you I love you. I'm going to show you with my actions.
Yeah.
And giving of like his greatest asset, something close to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
I
good.
think that's the difference. Like, are you willing to give up something that is so close and near and dear to you that it is like, I'm giving you my best?
Yeah.
And that's what drive is. I'm giving you the best of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a song, ain't it?
Man,
Yeah.
Giving you the best of me.
I'm crying.
It's
Amazing.
sacrifice. It's sacrifice. And you have to have a bit of, so I say this now, passion produces drive and drive produces sacrifice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because every time I had to go, I was sacrificing my comfortability.
Yeah.
Every time I had to go, it's so funny how people, I don't have the story that I was homeless, and I don't have that story. My mom has always owned our house.
Yeah.
But it's a different level of drive when you're pursuing something and you make a decision to struggle
You're
to
right.
get it.
Absolutely. That's it right
I
there.
wasn't forced into struggle. I made a decision
Yep.
to struggle
Yeah.
so that I could get it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, you're preaching my story.
Yeah.
You're preaching my story. There's certain indications that you're in purpose.
Mm.
One is that you're doing it despite the exterior things that are happening, and God will show signs that you are in purpose and you're right exactly where you're supposed to be.
Wow. Wow.
And oftentimes that's found when you feel like you're in, what do we
The
say,
tren-
the
the
trenches.
trenches.
Yeah.
Where I find myself right now. It's crazy everything that you're saying about passion and drive. I felt like I had neither. Like,
Wow.
I felt like I had nothing. I felt like I was so overstimulated by everything going on around me. I had no clue
Wow.
what I wanted to do. I know for sure I had the same feelings. Like I would experience these captivating moments where I'm just like, I love to sing. I love what I'm experiencing. I want to be able to captivate it, but then I will also have this crippling fear. I'm just like, all these people around me are like, they're major people.
Right.
So I feel like I'm understanding. Then I didn't understand it. I was like the leaf blown in the wind. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I just know that I wanted stability because of the topsy-turviness of what I've experienced, because of what I've seen of the industry.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted money. I knew I wanted my own money. I'm an intellectual, so I was really focused on like my grades and getting job and work since I was 16. Like I was just talking to a friend, even telling you, this is the first time that I've chosen not to work because I've realized my passion, which is singing. It's something I can't run away from. It's something that I can't escape. But I didn't want anything. I didn't want to take it seriously.
Yeah.
There was something I did in pastime, and I had the mindset, if something happens, So I'm the complete opposite of you, Travis. Like I was like, I don't want to go here. I don't want to do this. I was like, I want to stay in the back. I don't want to be seen in this capacity, but I also want to have other means to get what I need to get. So I've done several things to make sure I maintain stability for myself. And I've become a stable force in my family because of that, because I've brought stability even to the creative. So now that I'm really stepping into really pursuing creativity and music specifically is what I'm pursuing right now. I get to take some of those stable things and guardrail my creativity. There's a book called Herding Tigers that talks about it's a book about how to lead creatives, and I've done a lot of creative work in the church and worship leading and administrative things, and so one of the concepts is putting creatives in a box forces them to create better. And I feel like because of that journey, I've been able to help my family create better because I'm giving them a box, because everybody was just like, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. But a lot of things weren't getting done. Yeah. I'm just like, you keep, and I'm the one, I'm real. I'm like, I'm the one, I'm like, okay, you said that 3 years ago. Where's the project? You did this, da, da, da. And everybody, and they're looking at me. But I think what inspired me and what was an underlying passion, go to therapy, saints. Go to because therapy is what unpacked a lot of these things and helped me to realize the way that I was thwarting the thing that I really wanted. It was the experience, and I named some of the names, and it's not even the big things because the world got to share the big things with some of the people that I've been around that I've named. Right. It was the things that no one saw. It was the rehearsals. It was the studio sessions. It was sitting in my grandma's living room and hearing them sing. People always joke about my mom. They call her Joe Jackson, but she didn't beat us, y'all. She didn't beat us like that. Clear. But all of my siblings sang. Yeah. So I just
sing down.
So we would just I just love singing.
You can sing for real.
No, my whole you think I could sing, Travis?
Go over to the house.
I thought I could sing.
You can.
He could sing. But I wanted to, he just triggered me to say something. I have a quote that I came up with about a year ago. It says, just because it feels like it's not working out doesn't mean it's not working out.
Yeah.
You've been through things because the system taught us to focus on stability and money over purpose. Yeah. And I believe when you decide to focus on purpose, that the things that come along with purpose will be a bed to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And you have to be more committed to your faith than your gift. Because if you focus on the gift, that's not enough to carry you. You have to focus on the faith of it, the faith in not just God, but faith in yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, in our religion, we've been taught a lot to believe in God and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't personally believe that's enough.
No, it's not.
It's okay to believe in God and yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why would I talk about how God is in me, but I don't believe in the God in me?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, that's because we've been taught to blame somebody for everything.
Wow.
Everything good God did, everything bad the devil did.
Yeah.
We've been taught to take no responsibility for nothing, not even the good stuff.
Yeah.
So the truth is you have to be committed to the faith because it will get hard. It will get rough. It will get tough. And sometimes you have to remind yourself like, hey, it's coming. It's
Absolutely.
coming. It's coming. It's on the way. It's on the way. And that your words have power.
Absolutely.
And that it's going to happen because you said so.
Yeah. Man.
You know what I'm saying? But I had to detox from a lot of stuff that I'm spiritual. I'm not as religious as I used to be. I didn't actually learn or really start to understand the power of God until I left church for a little bit.
Yeah.
You need that
Yeah, I didn't leave God. I had to leave the system of church.
The institution.
Yeah, because there's an institutionalized, I just made a word up, that comes with the way you were raised. And you gotta understand, do you know how many religions, do you know how many denominations are just in our religion alone?
It's crazy,
how
bro.
many doctrines there are? First of all, none of them
rules?
believe the same stuff.
Right.
Everybody believes something different.
Confused.
So we didn't went to 10,000 churches since we were little, and everybody's
confused.
saying something different.
And we're confused.
Everybody got a different word. There's, so you have to literally have a level of belief in the God in you.
Correct.
And to learn his voice.
Correct.
Because the truth is, we'll get to a place where you only believe what God said to them about you because you think that they're closer to God than you.
Yeah.
And it's all about you cultivating that by yourself.
Gotta do it.
My grandmother said he's your God.
Yeah.
You take ownership of your relationship with God and you cultivate that at home by yourself. on the way, when I was in college, I used to turn off the GPS. When I was learning to hear the voice of God, I would turn off the GPS. Now, I cannot be late to class, or they mark you as completely absent.
Yeah.
And I would learn the voice of God through practical ways, not by what I saw like in church. I said, I turn off the GPS. You lead me today.
Yeah.
And take me on a route that is gonna get me there on time.
There's somebody churchy
Yeah.
right here. I love it. There's somebody
Let me
churchy
tell
right
you.
here.
But the crazy
Let me
thing
turn this
about that,
GPS. I'd have
Turn
still
it.
been driving.
turn the GPS off.
But I believe that sometimes there's no room in the inn, as Bishop Brian D. Moore would say.
Come on, drop it.
And he broke that down to say sometimes there's no room in the institution of church for Jesus. And if you want to really know him, you have to make room for him in your personal life, in that every day, in that bathroom, baby, in the shower, on the way to work, in the spaces that he's called you to, and you will see that you will find.
And he will show you signs,
Yeah.
wonders.
Yeah.
I say this a lot. You know, prayer is us talking to God. Meditation is him talking to us. That's why we do a lot of talking. And we say he's doing a lot of talking, but he ain't really been able to say nothing because we've been doing all the talking.
But you know what's so crazy? We end certain people in prayer without waiting for an answer, as if he's not able to actually answer in that moment.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing. Like you have to give that space and room and time. Like we'd be like, in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
But this is why I had watch this. This is why I had to step back from the system and the institution, because growing up, when you would hear the word meditation, it was like, ooh.
You doing yoga?
You doing
Witchcraft.
witchcraft. You doing yoga? But as I got older, I started to appreciate other religions and their diligence. I've seen Muslims pull over to pray.
Yeah.
We ain't praying until we lay down and get comfortable and get our night clothes on. I've seen them. I've walked outside of the mall and seen them lay out carpets and pray. I've seen people who do yoga sit in stillness. But when we pray, it's God, do it for me like you did it, and God, we're just doing all this talking. Just stillness. So I'm saying sometimes it's just about the principles.
Yeah.
And that's because our culture is extremely emotional.
Yeah. I agree.
We're extremely emotional. Sometimes we don't even know how to sit still. And let God, we gotta do this. You gotta tarry, you gotta run, you gotta throw up, you gotta shout, you gotta do this. And we don't know how to just sit and let God say something. He's like, when you're done with all these theatrics, let me know when you're done so I can tell you what I want to say. Or what I've already done.
You've done all of that. Did you get an answer?
Yeah.
When you left here?
When you get done doing that, can I tell you what I've already done?
You mentioned being an intellectual. I believe that God is one of the greatest intellectuals and creators of all time. And I believe in the God of solutions.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe that he's able to give Jeremiah, Najee, Travis a world solution.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it.
And some of that does not come through theatrics.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Some of that don't come through our hustle, the hustle culture that they try to sell to us. That we have to always be working 7 days a week. Like, I'm not doing that. I am enacting the principle of rest. Yeah. Because if I do not rest, I'm taking myself too seriously. Like,
it's crazy what both of y'all are talking about, because my experience is so different. Like, it's so different. Yeah. I've always disliked it. I've never, I've never been I've never got it. It never clicked to me what people were doing in church. It never clicked to me. I never conducted myself that way. I would be the oddball out, sitting in the back, like, what is wrong with this?
Okay, wait, hold on. I got a quick story. You came to our church and everybody was having a shouting down. Najee's over there.
I was like, what are they? And I grew up in storefront churches, but
and he does shout.
I learned how to shout going to his church. Shout out to Fred.
No,
Fred
no,
told me how to
for real.
shout.
No, but wait, what I have a friend, shout out to my good friend, Pastor Genesis Warren. She took me to an event, and I've been in church all my life, so I know how to do it
Right,
all.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't impressed this night, and I mean they were shouting and running, and she turned around and looked at me, and I was sitting like this. And she said, Travis, I was so embarrassed when I looked at you.
Every time.
She said, Travis, you act like you had no God. And you
No,
know,
that's
like,
crazy.
Even
you know, it's
equating
like,
that to God.
it's
No,
the
God is
moment
crazy.
of like, we feel like if we're not doing that, God hasn't moved.
Yes.
Because we've become so emotional in those moments. And that's what puts pressure on us, even as worship
Right.
leaders, because that's one vertical of Travis Malloy.
Yeah.
I'm an entertainer, but when I'm in the worship leading mode,
Yeah.
I know how to do it. But there's pressure on it because we feel like if people aren't in the audience falling out and speaking in tongues, God hasn't moved through us.
Yeah.
Because that's how we've been trained. If people aren't standing, we're not doing good.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said, Travis, just because people were sitting, no, not my mom, one of my friends in Philadelphia, he said, just because people were sitting when you were singing, he said, we still enjoyed you, we were just tired.
Right.
I was up all night.
Yeah, we were up all night, and it was a late night musical. We were tired, but you sounded amazing.
sounded great.
But you see the pressure of if you're not moving.
The response.
Yeah. We predicate on people's reaction to what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Instead of just planting the seed and being okay.
I have like one story associated with that. My brother, we were in Atlanta. It was like this church event. Literally, the Holy Spirit broke out, and we were youth at this time. I had to be like probably 16 or 17 years old, and like we just like ran up, started shouting all that type of stuff. My brother, he's not that guy. Not that guy. He's never gonna do it. If he does it, like it's just gonna be crazy. But he's sitting there, and God is so intelligent and mindful. Someone turned around to him and said, the Holy Spirit just told me to tell you that he heard you in your heart when you said just now that, do I not love God because I did not just go up there and shout? And he told me that any question that you have for him right now, he's willing to answer it. Do you have any questions? We're going crazy up there, and he's about to get an answer to a question in the way that he can receive it. And so I believe in like that we serve a God outside of these institutions, that this box that we've put this unboxable God in is actually nuts.
Yeah, of course.
It's actually crazy. And I'm not a don't go to church guy. Like I believe in it. I really do. Don't forsake the assembly. No, but I'm saying we got to do it in ways where, of course, there has to be order. I believe in order.
Yeah.
But there's I believe that there's a
time
renaissance.
away.
Yeah. There's time away. There's time of rest. And I believe that there's a renaissance coming to that specific industry that will
I hope so.
That will
and I still appreciate the culture of church. So I was just telling somebody I need to get to a ghetto church with no AC. Take me to South Carolina.
I can't do that.
Where I need something. So every now and then you need that. Every now and then I want somebody walking around with a headset on. Y'all only got 20 people in there, but everybody got a headset. I need some of that sometimes. I get into that. But we got to come out of ritual and get more into principle.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. Because I have a lot of people and friends that I know that are into the ritual of church that are poor.
Yep.
You mean to tell me you're shouting every week for victory and you don't ever have any gas money?
Yep. I feel the same way, bro.
You can't eat.
That same
You're not
level.
able to pursue your dream, but you got victory in your feet and not in your pockets. That's not, in the words of the late great Reverend Ike, I don't want to serve that God.
Nuh-uh.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
so I'm
that
just
is.
saying that. Yeah. So I facetiously but jokingly talk about how we've become we've gotten to the ritual of church, but we've missed the principle. And that's why I said I had to detox from it.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn what it meant to say, let the weak say I am strong, let the poor say I am rich.
Yeah.
And what that really meant. And what it meant when I say it.
Yeah. A lot of the things that we say are lifestyle things, and we think that they are song lyrics.
Please don't make me fall off this chair.
The song lyrics are lifestyle things.
Yeah.
One of the things that I admire about you, Jay, is that you literally, I don't ever impose my lifestyle on anyone.
Right.
I think that's the worst type of person.
Yes.
Cause I'm doing it, you need to do it. Like, and cause I'm doing it, you friends with me. We need. I love having different type of friends, and one of the things that I've observed is your lifestyle of worship outside of the four walls of church. And I just want you to share with people like what that looks like.
He looked like a
for
worshiper
you.
too. It's very still and anointed.
No, I think it's very important how you start off your day. So like for me, like right before I go to bed, I put my phone on airplane mode. It's not even don't disturb. It's airplane mode. Like I don't want any interruptions. And as soon as I wake up, I pray. I turn on my worship music.
Yeah.
I cook, shower, and then I turn on my phone. Like that's how I do every day. And I think what it does is it reminds me that I'm starting a new day. Like it's fresh, it's new, and God has space to do whatever he wants to do for that day. But I make sure that it's very intentional before I communicate with anyone.
You will not be able to reach this man.
I struggle with that. I ain't gonna lie.
You feel so much better. Like I promise you,
I've
will.
tried.
You tried.
And then I do it like my way. Like, you know how like on the favorites, if your phone is on Do Not Disturb, they can still call.
Oh no.
I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but everybody can still reach me because they're all on my favorites. Because I feel like I'm gonna miss something. But you know what? It's crazy because there are times where I will literally lay in the bed, wake up, and be like, my spirit is like, grab your phone.
Oh yeah.
Something's going on here.
Oh, definitely.
You need to know what's going on. And I'll be like, because I've tried to, but I thank God for friends like my brother, great motivational speaker, billionaire PA. One day he brought me to Miami. He said, you're going to come to Miami and you're going to relax. He said, you're going to get up and we're going to go to the spa at 9 a.m. without your phone. And first of all, I didn't want to get up at 9 a.m. to go anywhere. I barely made it here.
Yeah.
And so, because that's not my world.
Right.
But I had to he made me be intentional about peace.
Wow.
That's it.
So literally, he's all right, come on, it's time to go. And we get out, I'm going downstairs. I'm like, most people would love to go to a spa. I just didn't want to go at 9 a.m. And I'm sitting there and he made me sit my phone on the side and he just made me sit in peace. I didn't even really know what that felt like. For somebody to care enough to say, hey, you need peace. And you gotta have people, sometimes you gotta have some friends with some money too. Yes, I was in Miami 2 months ago and my friend, Coach Stormy Wellington, she said, you're not sleeping in a hotel this weekend. She said, you're gonna sleep on my yacht this weekend.
Come on.
She said, you're a boss and you need to know what it feels like to wake up on a yacht. So I was trying to lay there, but the water was hitting the boat, and every now and then. But this will train your peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because every now and then I'll wake up thinking it was like a shark or like a fish or something, and it was like,
shark is
no,
so crazy.
baby, it's just the water. It's okay.
It's just the water.
Just relax.
Damn.
But we're so accustomed to trauma and things happening that I didn't even know how to relax on a yacht.
Peace is a positioning, and I think that it teaches you. When you were saying it, I'm literally picturing the disciples going to wake up Jesus because he was so at peace in the bottom of that boat. He was so at peace that it was scaring the people that don't have it. He was so at peace while the water. He's on a yacht too. With his friends.
That was the yacht experience. I'm getting ready to preach that, right? Thank you for giving me that. I'm going to preach that over there. I'm about to have megafest with that. People going to be standing in line to hear me preach when I get done with that.
Oh my, Megafest is so crazy.
That's so good.
But that's what I saw. As you were talking, I saw Jesus, and they literally was going to wake him up because he was so at peace.
Wow.
And that's why you have to have the right people around you, because why aren't y'all at peace while I'm at peace? your friends matter. Who's around you matters. And he was like, what's actually going on? Like, what's happening?
And peace, like you said,
It's a
is a
position.
position. And I believe the position of peace can give you real peace. Because we live in fake peace.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what that means.
Absolutely.
Fake peace is so funny.
Let me tell you what fake peace means. Some nights, because I'm a musician, I cannot really go to sleep to music because it makes me think about making music. So every now and then, I'll put on the movement of the ocean and water to go to sleep. So it was able to put me to sleep in my bed from me putting it on the phone, but I could not really sleep when God had me on a real boat.
On a real boat.
Actual
real
water. Real water.
Yeah.
Fake peace.
It was fake peace.
Yeah. Fake peace.
It was fake peace.
Get you some real peace.
Because the water,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, I got to be in a position of peace and trust that I'm good in peace.
On actual water.
On actual water.
Yeah. And that's the difference between like us.
MegaFest
like,
September 3rd through the 6th. Please get your tickets now.
and that's the same thing about, I think the thing about just like having a dream
Wow.
and pursuing the dream, because just having it is like, you know, that's the thought process. It's just the water that you hear. But actually pursuing that thing, you're actually on water.
Actually, on
And sometimes you're on a boat, and sometimes you got to walk on it. And for me, I'm a water walker. I'm a water walker.
Yeah.
I'm a water walker. Sometimes I stumble, baby. Sometimes I've been like Peter more than once in more than one scenario. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll cuss him out.
But that's because we've been trained to over hustle.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been trained that if we're not doing nothing, we're not hustling.
Yeah.
If you ain't working, you're not a boss. Jasmine Rochelle was here.
Yes.
That's my creative director.
What?
For everything that I do. Malloy Entertainment, Millions, Billions,
Okay.
Trillions. We had a meeting a couple
Small
days
world.
ago.
Wow.
And I was like, and we had a meeting and I'm giving her everything I need and want. And I said, is there anything I need to be doing today? She said, no, I don't need your help.
I love Jasmine.
She said, go get some rest. I got this. Because I had given her everything to do, but I was still trying to find something to do.
Yeah.
Because if we're not hustling, we're not working. But sometimes it's okay to just.
Sometimes it looks like delegation.
Yeah. For me, peace is disarming lies. And me being an intellectual,
That's good.
And I'm the oldest of 5.
Yes.
And I have many more. 5 that my mother had. We got a whole bunch of other ones.
We're living.
I think I got about 11 siblings, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Y'all were living. Live, mom.
But I tell my siblings all the time because I'm seeing them, and I feel like I've conquered peace a while ago. Things have gone wrong around me, and I used to get into a frenzy, but it just doesn't. I informed myself of a truth of a thing, and I would tell. I tell my wife. I tell my siblings. When you are fearful of something or something is giving you anxiety, just pick it apart. Look at that thing, and what is the lie? What can you chase down to a point of fact? And most of the things you can't. It's just like, oh wait, well this is a possibility of something, or this could happen, or this could be the way that it goes. And I think being in that position too, like I'm not as quick to jump, and I'm finding my hustle now, and finding my drive to go, because I'd rather sit back, I'd rather observe, I'd rather watch, I'd rather let everybody else show me who they are. Whatever in whatever scenario, but I'm learning that even with that positioning, that like I'm trying to figure out that go-getter mentality to chase after those things like all of y'all have. And but I think peace is just disarm that thing, and then inform yourself of the truth. Like something simple. I know people who are scared of like spiders or ants. And I was talking to my wife. My wife was one of them. So she's like screaming, jumping around, and I'm just like, let's do some research. And y'all know, let's do some research.
That is so Najee.
These type of ants
that is Najee.
Don't even have the ability to bite you because your skin is stronger than their bite.
Wow.
They don't even have the ability to harm you.
I'm preaching that too.
They don't even have. So you are sitting here running around thinking you about to get bit by something that don't even have the ability to bite you.
Wow.
So once you inform yourself of truth, you're now at peace. Now, I can let this crawl on me because it's fine, and now I'm not freaking out and jumping and going crazy. Maybe the crawling sensation is still, it feels weird, but you move differently. Even with bees, I'm allergic to bees.
Yeah.
And I had a huge fear of bees for a long time. And I was sitting with Pastor Meredith of Cornerstone Church.
Yeah.
And she was just like, bee is like any other bug. It's just, if it's agitated, it will sting you. But if it's not, it's like any other bug. If a fly come on you, you don't have the same reaction. You might swat it, whatever. And then I was living in the Midwest in Toledo, Ohio for a little bit. And their bees are crazy. They take pieces of meat off your plate. I was just like, I ain't never seen no bees like so.
Nigga bees.
Right.
Nigga bees is so funny.
So we're sitting there at the table, and we eating some tacos, and we're outside. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And we get swarmed by 20 bees. And she's like coaching me through this. And in that moment, like I calmed myself down. I just breathed, and I was just like, okay, let me consider this to be like a fly that don't have and all my fear was gone. So now let me tell you one time, I was driving to Publix, and a bee came. I had wear glasses, and a bee came into my glasses. Boy, I ran into somebody's lawn on their grass.
Oh my.
And I'm screaming. I got the car. It was like, if somebody was recording me, I would have went viral. I'm screaming. So that was my reaction to them. So now I take this composition, and obviously there's always things that are out of the ordinary that can happen. You could, of course, still get stung by a bee if any other circumstance, but it's just informing yourself of the truth of something, so you don't stay in a state of agitation or anxiety, because anxiety is you're focusing on what could happen. Let me focus on what I know is true, and what I know is a lie, and then I'm good. I'm at peace. So I've been seeing. I just moved back here 2 months ago to Atlanta. I'm so glad I'm back. But me being away for almost 3 years from my siblings and just seeing that, I'm just like, y'all in shambles. You need to get you some peace. And I'm just walking through all these things with them, and I'm seeing them transform because they're getting a hold. That's why I'm a deep thinker.
Yeah.
I'm an intellectual. So I really enjoy seeing them now come into the fruition of something that I had to go through and that I had to experience. And there was something else that you said a while back. You were talking about the small voice of God, and moving on that thing. That really hit me because I feel like I always could hear him clearly because I was always still, but I never moved.
Oof.
I would just be like, okay, but I can't do that. That would be crazy. What if I went up to that? Like some of the things you're talking about, you did. I wish I would have had the boldness, the strength, and the drive to do, because I felt like I wanted to do it, and then I would just be, I would get stuck in my mind. So I think it works for you. For me, it works for me, and it works against me. But I'm now stepping into, similar to what you were talking about earlier. This is the first time in my life. I'm 29 years old, and since 16, I've been stable as far as going and doing things that I had what I needed. I resigned. There was nothing, super wrong. I fasted for 30 days. I was going to Pastor Wine's, Marvin Wine's church, in Toledo. He has one in Toledo and in Detroit.
Oh, nice.
And I found out they was doing prayer, and I was so thwarted. I'm just like, when I moved to Toledo, I thought that was me leaping and doing the thing and leaving everybody, because I was in Atlanta. I was doing everything. I was making bread. I was getting called for every session. I'm booking, producing. I'm in these rooms, and then the Lord was like, you need to leap on faith, and I got this opportunity. So I'm like, I'm going to Toledo. So I thought that was the thing, but it was the thing preparing me for the season that I'm in now.
Wow.
And where I find myself now, I've left everything behind. Like, I'm still getting job offers. I'm still getting these calls for gigs with the big money, but God was like, no, stay with your family. So I'm in the trenches for real, y'all. Like, on my way here, my car, not here to this place, but my way to Georgia, my car broke down in Kentucky. It's still there. Like, so and the crazy thing is, God, it's not even, I'm not gonna say God is handing out, but it's all these opportunities where I can go get everything I need to get it. And I just don't, I feel like it's not the time, and I'm just resting in the trenches. That's just my word right now. I'm in the trenches.
Yeah. But you know what? These are not just what you're experiencing. Those are not just by happenstance. You have to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're sure, you've decided to do music. So God is not breaking down your car. God is giving you songs.
Yeah, come on now.
So you have to, when you change your perspective of what's happening,
Yeah.
then you will be able to appreciate what's happening, because you're not chasing. You can't chase nothing God already gave you. So when you're living in purpose, everything in the world of purpose will begin to chase you. So those are your car didn't break down. That's a song.
Yeah, it is. My album's coming out soon.
Those are songs. So now when my car was repossessed in Los Angeles, and I went to a producer and I said, I need you to help me get my car back. He said, go write a song about it. I was extremely offended that he told me to go write a song about it. But the song I wrote
about it is so funny. That's a crazy response.
It's a crazy response because it's somebody coming from somebody who's rich, who could have done it.
Yeah.
But he was sure and knew that those experiences were songs because he's been there.
Wow.
And guess what? That song is what made me a Grammy-nominated producer today.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know it, and the world don't have to know that.
Yeah.
But that's something that happened for
They
me.
do not.
So you have to look at it. You have to look at those as
that's
songs.
great.
I was the minister of music of a church. They let me go in the middle of a pandemic. Didn't care how I survived.
Yeah.
But that was when millions, billions, trillions was birthed. So that was the movement. That wasn't me being released.
Yeah.
That was God releasing the movement.
That's crazy.
So you got to change it. Once you change your perspective about what's happening, this is not the trenches. This is you working on the album.
Come on now. I'm gonna stop saying the trenches now. They got me together.
Yeah,
Listen.
because because what you don't want to start doing is prophesying trauma, prophesying the trenches, prophesying. No. These are songs.
This is my mother right
No,
now.
this is business. These are ideas.
Absolutely.
Your building is coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to look at it differently.
And I
now.
love that perspective because
it is.
when I was in it and when I was making the bread and I was doing the things, I could not write nothing.
Of course.
I could not write. I could not record. And anybody knows me. I have a vault full of got almost 500 songs and nothing nothing is out. So I was just one of those. I'm just doing it because I love to do it, but I couldn't even do it because I love to do it in those seasons because my brain was so occupied by doing the thing that I wasn't supposed to be doing at that time. So I received those words. It sounded like that's my mother be jacking me up too. I am not the worst, but I'm such a realist.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just be like, this is what it is. And I'm not offended by my situation. I don't
But
care.
you know, millions, billions, trillions taught me to help people live in a new reality. So I can't live in what's happening.
Right.
I got to live in what I know is coming.
Right.
That's it.
And when you're prophetic, let's just talk about your words, because one of the things that inspires me about all of you is your transparency, but also words, what you say.
Yeah.
I'm really big on that. I'm sure I'm not gonna say her name, but a friend of mine, we were at a restaurant last night and she was saying something. She's laughing behind the scene. She was saying something and I said, no, we're not about to continue on in this conversation. And you saying it's gonna take you this long to do. No, you do not know when God is gonna do it. You don't know where it's coming from. So we're gonna rewrite this, and we're gonna say this is what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Man. Your words have so much power. Your words frame your world. That is my saying. Like your words literally have the creative power to go before you and like create something, and then you get there and you're like, oh my God, I'm on a podcast called Frame by Frame that I talked about like this is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just something you spoke to a friend. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I believe God is telling me to get creatives together and them talk about their personal stories and their lives and who they are at. And you know what I'm saying? And I see that, that it's really coming from the scripture that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word
of our testimony.
One of my favorites. And this is kind of like the final piece to that overcoming is you have to tell your testimony
I have
about
a
it.
little pin in that,
Okay.
and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that perspective,
Yeah.
and I get that. But we were talking about the church
Yeah.
a few moments ago, and I feel like one of the things that the church fails at
Mm-hmm.
is the right now where I'm at.
Mm.
And a lot of people can identify or put themselves in a situation because everybody's talking about it's this. You're on your breakthrough. You're in this. You're in this. But
Mm-hmm.
what about where I'm at right now?
Right.
And for me personally,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's great, and I believe that scripture. I
Yes.
believe we overcome by the word lamb and yeah,
Yeah.
the blood of the lamb. But for me, it was just like okay, like for me, I was in church. I'm a good singer. Okay, so I would sing sometimes at church, and this before I did it professionally.
Okay.
And everybody, oh, you're gonna sing to the nations. You're gonna da da da
They
da. I'm
love
just
that
like,
one.
but I am going through mental sham. Like I am like, I was in the club, I was doing this, and I'm just like,
I love
why is
that one.
nobody speaking to this thing that I need to be spoken to,
Yeah.
or or identifying
Yeah.
what's going on? Like what's going on? Like, do you have struggle, or are you just perfect? Like, and that was my perception,
Yeah.
like viewing the church. So I think it's important to speak to
Yeah.
where you're going, but I want to see more of people telling me where
Yeah.
they're at,
Yeah.
like the low places. I
Yeah.
want to see that
Yeah.
because I want to know that because you were in a low place, and
Yeah.
now that I see where you're at now, that it's possible for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, even when pastors and churches get into scandals and things of that nature, like it's always like this is not the positioning that I'm looking for to
Correct.
say that I'm broken. Like
Correct.
even for me, he coming here today,
Yeah.
I'm not coming here whole. I wouldn't say I'm
Yeah.
coming here whole. I'm here on my way to
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And I'm on
Right.
my way in progress. Like I'm not even lie, like even coming
Yeah.
with Travis and Jeremiah, I was just like, I've done some things, but I haven't done as big of things that all of you have. But I felt God was just telling me, like, present yourself
Yeah.
on your way
Mm-hmm.
to where you're going.
Yeah.
So I feel like I want to see more of that. I
Yeah.
want to see more people saying, I'm not yet this thing, but I'm on my way to this thing. I'm not yet whole, but I'm on my way to wholeness. I'm not yet fully healed, and I'm
Yeah.
doing it broken on my way to be healed. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where I feel like
Yeah.
I'm in my life. Like
Yeah.
I've been so sure about so many things, being an intellectual, thinking I was sure
Yeah.
of so many things. But now I feel like I forfeited everything that I know,
Yeah.
everything that I thought I knew. And I'm so open to receiving and experiencing those stories from you. This whole thing's inspired me. Like,
Yeah.
even what it's just so
Yeah.
inspiring to me because I feel like I'm a late bloomer. I've done everything that y'all talking about in my head.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing like, I have a wife.
Yeah.
I have a
Shout out to
baby on
her.
the
Shout
way.
out to
Nicole,
her.
I love you, baby.
Yeah.
And it's something completely shifted in me. I'm just
Yeah.
like, it wasn't about the money.
Yeah.
It wasn't about anything. Like I just literally moved back here with a pregnant wife in my parents' basement. Like, like, and I didn't have to. I had money. I was
Right.
making good money. I
Right.
did not have to do this
Yeah.
thing, and that would have gone against all of my ideals before. But now that I'm in this place, I'm just like, I want my child to know that what's important to me is pursuing what makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever done that,
Yeah.
but I'm doing it now,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy.
And what I want to say to that is that is setting a format and a formula for your child and for the people coming behind you. That to get up from comfortability
Yep.
and to go to an uncomfortable place to produce something that's so much bigger than you and bigger than this lifetime right now. Because honestly, what you have coming is going to be literally bigger than this
Oh,
lifetime.
absolutely, absolutely.
Bigger than this lifetime
So many
is
great
going to
things coming.
serve as a testimony that this is what it really takes. And it could come through this way, but this is what
Yeah.
it really takes.
And what Travis, you said earlier, purpose chases you.
Yeah.
I
Definitely
never,
does.
I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't like the one running to it, but I was the one strategizing to it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I would make small moves and I would get to where I was going.
Yeah.
But when I let go of everything, the opportunities that I'm sitting on right now are insane. The songs that I'm writing right now are my heart. I'm just in this place where I'm just like, I could have never imagined
Yeah.
that by me leaving everything that I ever wanted that was lying dormant in my heart is finally coming to fruition. And I'm not doing nothing but sitting in my mama's basement.
Wow.
Like, it's insane. Like, I could cry right now because it does not make any sense for this to be happening. And so I feel like the faith that I thought I had wasn't faith.
Wow.
The belief that I thought I had wasn't belief, and I'm now finding and experience the hand of God in my life. I've heard so many stories of talking about like God did this, and I would always wonder, when are you gonna do it for me? But He's doing it now. Like, I could cry right now.
I love it, man. I'm so proud, and and I ain't trying to hijack, but I just
No, it's fine.
I got to flow. I need some worship chords. You got to start
Hold on,
Turn
let me
the
get
pad
my piano
on.
out. The pad
man,
on.
just I'm proud of you, man. And just like you said, you're becoming more sure.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like even as an intellectual, you overthink everything, and you even overthought and overlooked yourself.
Yeah.
And now you're becoming more sure of who you are, because it's the basement that produces the billions.
Come on now.
So God had to
I'm gonna run.
I receive.
I'll be right back.
and this is just the life we live.
Yeah.
You know, we think that, you know, I remember my mentor told me, Travis, you're too special to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
Oof.
And I could be, listen, I'm gonna say names because I know all of them. 15 years ago, when I was trying to get a record deal, and every day I looked up, it was somebody else. It was Travis Green. I said, what about me?
Jesus.
It was Jonathan McReynolds. What about me? These are my friends.
Yeah.
It was Dion Kipping. It was this person. It was that person. It was all these people. Everybody had a record deal but me. And I remember sitting on a couch 6 years ago that I was sleeping on, saying, God, when are you going to do it for me?
Yeah, man. I know that.
You know what I'm saying? So it was my perspective of seeing these people, my friends who I was excited for. I was never envious, but I was like, okay, God, I sing just like them.
Right.
You give me a stage. You know what I'm saying? But I had to go through my process.
Yeah.
I had to go to LA and lose that car. I had to lose that apartment. I had to lose that relationship I was in. I had to lose the money. I had to lose these things. I had to watch my mom go through that. I had to go through those things so that now when I'm standing on stage talking about millions, billions, trillions, because it's not just currency, it's consciousness.
Yes.
Correct.
I needed a story.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't want to tell nobody else's story.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is, people will connect to the fact that you have a wife in a basement more than they'll connect with the song you wrote.
Yep.
The story.
The story.
Absolutely.
It's the story. The truth is, Keisha Cole didn't become a star until we seen that she had a Frankie and a Neffy.
Yeah.
That's when she became a star, because I was able to connect with the fact that, wow, I got an aunt just like her mom.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow,
Yeah.
I got a cousin just like her sister.
Yeah.
People connect to the story.
Yeah.
So you need a story.
Yeah.
So don't you gotta just, this is my journey.
Yeah.
This is not my trenches, this is my journey.
Come on, you keep correcting. I love it. You
Get
said something that
language.
was so important to me, is that my own story. And most people would assume, because of who I grew up with, most people didn't even know LaShawn Daniels was my uncle until he passed away, because I did not want that on me. And even anything that I ever did in the industry, I never name dropped. I never said anything, because I was fighting for my own voice, and I felt like I didn't have one. I felt like, what have I done? Who am I?
Yeah.
And in the midst of all these people. So, but I do have a story. I do have a story that is being written, that is being built, and the basement's to billions.
The reason I said those names
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
because a lot of times people are not transparent about how they feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
I'm,
love that.
For real, I'm a church boy, but I'm really a real nigga. And I'm gonna be honest and say, when I seen all of them getting deals and touring and stuff, it's like, man, pick me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go.
But your question to God is not. I think that we grow up sometimes in environments where they tell you not to question God. I give them every question. I ask them everything, baby.
Yeah.
And I'm transparent, and I say, Lord, I'm struggling with anger. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling. Like, I give that to God, and I also tell people so that when you hear it, you know that you can also be transparent with God. I've had several friends that be like, "Dang, you pray like," and then we joke about it. I'd be like, "Listen, I'd be close to cussing in prayer because it's that we're that close, and it's like." I want to give you. I don't have I don't speak Churchanese. Like I could do it for play and for fun, but in my real life, I
Well, that's because we've been trained to lie.
right.
So we don't, we say we worship him in spirit and in truth, but then we go to him in a lie.
Yeah.
So because we conform.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the person you invite to church that says, "Oh, I can't go there. I was out last night." No, that's how he wants you.
Yep.
Right.
See, we go and change up.
Yeah.
Oh, let me put this suit on so I can look like church.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you come as you are, he'll heal you where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow.
That's very good.
I really want to shift. I want to talk about some personal challenges that you have overcome within either your personal life or in your industry that have made what you do worth it.
I think that communication overall, I say communicating from a business standpoint, personal standpoint, I think that a lot of times with me, I have a lot of people pulling for me, right? Whether it's clients. And early on, I didn't have delegation. So it was just me taking on everything. And it was a lot, like from friends and family, wanting to hang out or just wanting to get a response about certain things. It became overwhelming for me. And that was one of the challenges that was very hard. But I think what has helped now is, especially from the personal end, is not putting so much pressure on myself or feeling guilty to respond right away. Like I have to be able to be in a place to respond, be in a place to take time. And I think early on I couldn't find that. I didn't know what that looked like. And even from a business perspective, like I could think of times to where like I felt like I did bad business, especially like first starting off, just from the sense of like not having the proper hard drives and people losing their stuff and that pressure. And I feel like I had great opportunities during that time. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And now being in a place to where like I'm really diligent and very, prepared when it comes to shooting big shoots, little shoots, it doesn't matter. I make sure that, I take the time and I'm really prepared before and after the process of making sure that everything gets done right and communicating along the whole process.
So you think that level of communication came through trial and error, basically?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I think it was many times that I hit like rock bottom that I felt like just from, from my clients' personal end to where I wasn't available. Yeah. And I think that, now I've been able to create a good personal and work balance to where it works. It works for me.
Sorry. Congratulations. But seriously, communication is a big part of business. It's a big part of your personal life. It's something that I am still yet
Trying to figure out.
working on. And so and it does come through delegation. I have a quote that I don't know even where it came from, but staff your weaknesses. And that does not mean don't work on them. That just means that sometimes you are not programmed, and we can always reprogram, right? So this does not give an excuse, but you can always reprogram, but you should be able to staff, and you should get to a place where you can staff your weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about you, Najee?
I think for me is I have a high capacity to do a lot of things at once. I think realizing that you don't have to be at the peak of your capacity at every moment. Like just because I can do all these things and juggle them. I realized that what I was putting into myself produced better work.
Wow.
So although I had the ability to do all these things, the quality of what I was doing was diminished because I was spread thin, if you will. And I still think it was still some good work. No, but seriously, I learned to invest in me time.
Wow.
Invest in being at rest and being at peace. When you were telling a story about peace, I had the same like, okay, what am I need to be doing? I'm the same type of person who would call my manager like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "I got it handled." So really making sure that I'm okay and I'm at the best level that I could be, whether that's rest, whether that's going to the movies, what just really engaging in the things that I needed to feel like my heart was full. So when I did and take on projects, that even if I had the capacity to take on 5 and I only was doing 2 at the time because I wanted to go chill, I was producing a much better quality of work. My attitude, look, I didn't learn some things about my attitude and how to disarm. And I found out that I was setting myself up to create my disposition. Like, I'm just like, and I'm like, y'all, the whole podcast I've been talking about is all on the inside. So my face is cool, but on the inside, I'm just agitated. I'm just like, why did he do that? Why did he do this? I'm just like, but I'm like, so, but I learned how to disarm even the inside voice to be okay with it. When you are good in your heart, you give grace easier. When people
Knowing
are
that
not,
you need it too.
absolutely. When people are making mistakes, you can be like, oh, okay, I would have made a mistake. But when you're agitated or you're at your capacity, I feel like you don't always perceive things the best.
Absolutely.
So that's been really, really, really helpful to me.
Wow. I experienced an entire level of freedom in overcoming what I needed to overcome to be who I am today and where I'm growing. And one of those were I had to let the people off the hook that I helped, that didn't help me. I felt extremely entitled to people that I've put in position.
Wow.
And some of them I didn't help. Some people just offered, and I had to get free from the broken promises. I went through this thing where it was like I was climbing this ladder of success, and every 2 steps, I would look down and say, I helped them. They getting ready to help me.
Travis.
And I would get distracted.
He talking.
And I start, and then I get a little higher, and I'd be like, oh, I remember I helped them.
Travis.
And then I stop, and that ladder starts shaking because I get distracted because I start thinking about all the people I helped that were only helping themselves. And I had to get free, and I came to this revelation that you will not always reap from the same places you sow.
Absolutely.
That's good right
Absolutely.
And in that very moment,
Go ahead.
this is where being sure comes in.
Yeah.
Because once I got sure that I could sow a seed in Pittsburgh and reap a harvest in Atlanta, or that you could sow a seed at Greater Grace Tabernacle and reap a harvest at the Dream Center, and just all these different places, because a lot of times we believe that our seeds are limited to where they were sown. And so once I've freed all of those people who never looked back to me, I just started crying. And I literally, because it was years of people that I've helped, that I've put in position, that I've made calls for. I mean, that grew to be bigger than me. And because that's always been my heart to help. But I think that we always want to be appreciated.
Of course.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be appreciated. But you can't become a slave to what people will never do. I had become a slave to the people that I helped. I had become a slave to the people that I've moved people to this city that got brand new. And for real, straight up.
I believe
No,
and I had to remind them, like, hey,
hello.
don't do that. Bishop brought you here. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I joke with my friends sometimes, but the truth is that was the greatest thing that I had overcome. Just letting people off the hook. People will not always stay committed to what they say to you. But when you're sure and you're in purpose, it's going to come. It may not come from those people. It may not, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just a test to see if you can handle a letdown. You know what I mean? So I've experienced a lot of that. When you're this, like, probably making up a word, but when you're this hyper talented person, you're gonna get calls.
Yeah.
Y'all be surprised the many people that have found me on YouTube and Instagram. Oh, you're so talented. We're gonna change your life.
Yep.
Oh
Call
yeah.
your mom on
Know those
three-way.
I don't
calls.
even
We,
Call
believe
your
those
mama
no
we,
on
more.
we,
three
we're gonna do
way.
this.
I'm
Yeah,
not calling
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let
we're
me see
gonna
the
do this.
contract.
We're gonna do that. All that.
me
And
see it
so,
on black and white.
imagine the trauma
Yeah.
of getting the level of calls that I've gotten,
Yeah.
flown to mansions and
Yeah.
standing in front of mansions and calling my mom saying, "Mom, look where I'm at. They getting ready to do it for us." And then you get home and you don't hear from them.
Wow.
So the process of having to heal,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're gonna get excited.
Yeah.
So now it's this thing of, okay, this is a great call, but with or without them, it's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's called emotional intelligence.
Yes. That's
Because
good right
I went through a phase where I fell in love with every call.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Wow.
And it's almost like dating. You can't fall in love with everybody. And I'm a Scorpio. I'm a hopeless romantic. We go on one date. I done fell in love. I done start picking kids' names, all kind of stuff. I'm like, we just went to the park. Calm down. But the truth is, as a creative,
Yeah.
we're like that. We
Yeah.
fall in love with every call. I've gotten calls about millions, billions, trillions. It's like, oh, you're gonna be a millionaire in 5 days. I'm driving through neighborhoods, picking out my house. I think
I
they need
don't
to
like
change
how
the
they
ceiling.
did. Yeah, I don't like how they do
We're
that.
gonna change
the
that.
windows. I would change the windows. I would
You
make
get-
bigger windows. I
Right,
need
and then you
more
get
light.
home and you all ungrateful. You kicking over stuff like I don't even like this
I
table.
hate
no
this
more.
apartment. Matter of fact, I don't like this apartment, man.
I don't like it at all. You got an attitude with the leasing people. They've been so good to you. But that's where God had to grow me
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
said, hey, when you become sure in who you are and what I said is going to happen,
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes God different from people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, if I help you, you may grow. But, just to think, and can I just be honest with you? I went through a phase where it was like, okay, God, you're going to have to break this down because I sold 15 to 20 years of my life
Yeah.
to the gospel industry and started reaping from the R&B world.
Yeah.
Something about that affected my mind.
Right.
Because the truth is, I turned down multi-million-dollar deals to serve the gospel
church.
community,
Right. You better
the same
talk
people
about
who
it.
rejected me.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
But it's just like, isn't it just like Jesus though?
But it's just like God.
But
He uses rejection.
yeah, he does. I remember going through a period where I literally was praying. I said, I feel like they're spitting on me. At this point, the disrespect that I am receiving from people that I helped, I feel like they're spitting on me. And you know what the Lord said on the way? I was traveling through Harrisburg, North Carolina. I'll never forget it. He said, they spat on me too. I said,
Wow.
okay. I was like, and so if you're really gonna walk in purpose, and if you're really on your way to purpose, they will spit on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll feel like they hate the people that you're trying to help, baby. But I'm so glad that even through that your process of healing, our processes of healing, that we can reflect now and be like, it was for my good. It was for my good.
Yeah.
We have these REELS on socials and all that type of stuff. And, people see our high moments, like our highlight reels. And sometimes they don't get the REAL, like the real moments that make those mountaintop moments worth it. What is like one real moment that makes your REELS moments like so much more impactful than just the post?
I would just say for me, I touched on it earlier. Me and my wife are living in my parents' basement.
Yeah.
And on social media, we look like the cutest couple. I mean,
Y'all look
we're
great.
cute.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
cute. But and we're having these moments, the gender reveal, and
Yeah.
all these moments. But the tears that we've cried together,
Wow.
the things that we've had to consciously decide that we were going to leave behind for what we agreed that we're moving toward.
Yeah.
The growing pains of like me as a man and a husband,
Yeah.
going through the feelings of a failure. Like I'm giving up stability or what I thought stability was, and I have my wife looking at me, and I'm about to have a little one looking at me, and then still making that decision, like just the battle
Yeah.
of it, and then they just get to see the smiles and me holding her belly and us looking,
Y'all look
matching.
great.
The photo shoots,
Yeah.
they thinking we,
Y'all on photo shoots,
we
video
couldn't afford
shoots.
a
Yeah.
photo shoot for nothing. Like
Baby.
somebody called
No,
us
seriously.
randomly and was like, "We want to do this photo shoot for you." And we got a lot of love for that and stuff like that. So you see the photos, you see the smiles, and they're genuine smiles,
Right.
but there's so much tears and pain and hard decisions that have come behind that. And and if anybody knows me, like they know that it's so out of me to have made the decisions in the way that I've made them in this season.
We did call and check on you.
Yes, huh? And trust me, it wasn't always good, and I wasn't always in the best frame of mind. But I'm so glad that I've done it.
Yeah.
Because those smiles are real because of it.
Yeah.
The love is real because of it, and I would have never imagined in my first year of marriage that I'm dragging my wife through my journey. Yeah. Through my songwriting. Yeah. So y'all know what I'm saying. I think, and I'm so grateful for it. But that's just the truth of it all. It looks great. Even the my album that I'm making, it's finished now. It's just in the mix and the mastering process. Everybody, the perception of people, they just think when they see you do music and recording and everything, they're like, oh, big money and stuff. I'm just like, big favors, big friends,
That's it.
big. I'm on a wing and a prayer, and I'm turning down gigs to pursue and do my music. So I don't really have no money, but I have my creativity. Like it's crazy, but the art will speak for the real behind the real.
I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah, and I say like for me, it's been not having a car. I have not had a car. I don't even have a studio, but here I am, like traveling the world and taking pictures of just about most of every influential person here in the world. So that has been one of the craziest things behind the scenes that has really like affected a lot of understanding who I am. Because when it happened, here I am doing these big shoots and traveling and doing all this stuff, and then I look at my bank account and I don't got nothing because it's all going to rental cars and making sure that I can get to the shoots. And that was by far, and this happened early of last year, the hardest times that I can think of, because I was like, wow, I've put in so much work into what I do, and I feel like I failed.
Yeah.
I feel like I failed. I'm back at zero. I don't even know what to do next. Like, do I get a job now? Do I continue to shoot? But here I am with all of these Instagram followers and shooting just about every celebrity, close in the area. And I'm just like, how is this making sense for my life? I don't even have a studio. But I feel like now I'm just getting to a place of not just stability, but of understanding why that happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, number one, I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about y'all. I'm just location is going to shift it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get here, you call me, and I got a space for you to shoot that I have, and I'm excited to talk about collaboration with you in regards to you having a place for you to bring your people to. That's not because I'm rich. That's because somebody actually sold into me and said, hey, I was getting ready to rent this to somebody else, but God told me to call you. I said, what I'm going to do with all this space? But I had to make a decision. See, the great Reverend Ike says, blessings happen when you decide for them to happen. I said, okay, I'm going to go get this space. And then people like you are going to need a space to shoot. People like you are going to need a place to film podcasts. So, man, I've been where you are, and I'm where you are at my level.
Wow.
And every day I wake up, I got to figure out, as a full-time entrepreneur, what's the next step?
Yeah, man.
What are we doing? How am I going to take care of this? How am I going to take care of that? See, people, like you said, people only see one thing, but they don't understand what if I don't always wake up feeling like Mr. Millions, Billions, Trillions.
Just listen.
Okay, and sometimes I look at my account and it be very dirty to me. It's shady. Like it's like a reminder, like, oh yeah, you wanted to show off last week?
We all got
Zero.
Now go work.
Zero.
Clyde.
So
Decline is crazy.
So we all have those moments, but I just wanted to encourage you but that's what makes you a boss. Do you know how, I have to say this and I might get in trouble, but do you know how not bossy it is to depend on something that can fire you every day? But the fact that you wake up as a hustler and God downloads new creative ideas to you to survive, you're a boss.
Yeah.
And to you, I am so happy about you being in the basement. I could cry right now thinking about how God is showing you that he gave you a woman that will even be in the basement with you. See, it's about perspective.
Yeah.
God is showing you, do you know how many women would never step into a basement with a man? So God is not showing you, he's not just giving you songs, he's now making your vows come to life.
Wow.
Because you stood on an altar and said, for better or for worse, he said, now let me show you what that means.
Wow.
And he sent you to a basement. And he's showing you, and not just a woman that you're married to, now it's a woman that birthed you, because not everybody can go home to a mom.
That's the one.
So now I'm now looking at it from a place of gratefulness.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a place of the fact that some people don't even have a mom.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the fact that you can see, we got this thing of success all mixed up. It's successful for me to possibly lose everything and I can still go to Pittsburgh and I have a room.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's successful.
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you that God is still doing it for you, and he's showing you his faithfulness to you, even in your marriage, even in your baby, the story that you're going to be able to share with your child. It's more powerful for you to tell your baby that we had you in a basement than it is we had you in a mansion.
Yeah.
Because then it immediately strips that baby away from the spirit of entitlement.
Yeah.
So I just want you to shift your perspective every day that you go home to be grateful for the basement place.
That's so good. That's so good.
Jamal Torre over there.
And start filming everything. I ain't saying you got to release it this week, but start filming the journey of the basement.
Yeah.
That's where your $1 billion is. Because you will be surprised how many creatives are in this place.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised how many famous people are in this place. Right. I know people with 1 million followers right now living with their mothers as well.
Wow.
And I'm going through stuff today, right now, every day, just trying to figure out the next step.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As an entrepreneur, we're faced with things every day. Yeah. So you needed this moment. You sitting here wondering why you no, God is positioning you next to where you're next in line to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I needed to be here. I don't even know if this was the original cast I was supposed to be on, but then it shifted to something else. We needed to be here for each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we needed to pour into each other. I needed to hear that story because I'm looking for a wife. I want to have a baby. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you just gave me perspective, of what it's like as a man to with the weight of the world to feel emasculated because we not riding in Rolls Royces and putting bows on Mercedes Benz, but that don't mean nothing. Yeah. Because it's the ones that are doing that very thing that don't last longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You speaking.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful for this platform. I don't take this for granted. You know what I mean? I don't take for granted anytime anybody want to hear me talk. You know what I mean? So I don't, you know, because you're going to help somebody, even if it's just one person to save a life. Because somebody's in your situation and suicidal.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So hearing your story can save a life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So these are stories, man. These are songs. These are books. My friend, God, I'm sorry, but my friend, billionaire, PA, a couple years ago, he said, you are artist and you put out albums and you don't write a book for every song?
That's crazy.
Challenging me. Why don't you have a book for every song? We just making songs and putting it out. So he's challenged me like, no, man, if I was you, I would put out a book for every album.
Yeah.
Connect a story to every, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just be on interviews like, I wrote that song
Yeah.
at 3 o'clock in the morning. But no, like I got real life stories of things that I've experienced based on these. So now you need to attach an ebook to every song.
Yeah.
No, that's fire.
Stop wasting time and wasting songs. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't gonna listen to your song.
Yeah.
But somebody may go get that book on why you wrote it or how you wrote it.
Yeah.
And tell the story.
Absolutely. That's good.
That's what this
That's so good right
I just made you $10 million.
Yes. Like, I'm looking at my manager like, you got that?
She's back there nodding. She said,
She was like, Yeah. And I just want to clarify one thing for my mama getting me. The basement is nice, y'all.
No. You know
She be like, you on that podcast talking about my basement? It's a nice basement. She has a very nice home.
That is so funny.
It's beautiful. Baby, it got a
Beautiful gowns.
laid out. Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful
Like
gowns.
now you want to say
Beautiful
that.
gowns.
But you know what? It's not about how
No, I
nice it is.
understand. No.
A lot of times it's about what happens in our mind as men.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. This is not the place that I want to.
Never
It could be a mansion, but the fact that you're in a basement,
Never.
it plays with your mind.
Yeah.
And
It
you
does.
have to
Absolutely.
understand, like, man, I appreciate the basement.
I do.
Because the truth is, the basement is what's going to sell the music.
Yeah.
Don't nobody care about no music no more. They care about the story
Yeah.
of how you got to that studio and why you're there.
Yep. No, that's cool, man. I'm so full. I'm gonna go weep after this. It's the crying.
I'm appreciative of every one of your stories. They matter. They matter. It is what's going to help somebody get through there. You're not going through anything that you are currently going through, Jay, with the car, with everything that you're going through. None of that is on accident. And so the next time I see you guys will individually be in different places, better places, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. And I'm excited about that. I love you guys, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Wow.